ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Yes, continuation to the last class, that is the cerebellum or little brain. Second part in the hind brain is said to be as the cerebellum or little brain, or this is also called as gyroscope of body. So why it is said to be as the little brain? Means it is the second largest part in the brain. Due to that reason, cerebellum is said to be as the little brain. It is the second largest part. First largest part is the cerebrum. Second largest part is the cerebellum. Due to that reason, this cerebellum is said to be as the little brain or the little brain or gyroscope of body. Then what is the reason to call it as the gyroscope of body? Means it maintain body balance or body equilibrium. This cerebellum principally useful to maintain the erect position of the body, or it is principally useful to maintain the body balance. So that only it is said to be as the gyroscope of body. Then how that kind of the cerebellum regulate or maintain the body balance? Means by regulating the muscle movement of the leg, by achieving the coordination between the two sides of the legs, it always maintain the erect position of the body or the body balance. Definitely cerebellum always achieve coordination between the two sides of the legs while the person is in standing or in walking or in running. By that way, it achieve the coordination or it maintain the body balance or the equilibrium. Due to that reason, cerebellum is said to be as the gyroscope of body. Whenever the person consumes alcohol, that alcohol block the cerebellum, that alcohol inactivate cerebellum. By that way, cerebellum may not be gets involved in achieving the coordination between the two sides of the legs. By that way, uncoordinated movements are appears in the person. Means the person may not be walks properly. Person may be walks with an imbalance in an uncoordinated way. That kind of the condition is said to be as the ataxia. That condition is said to be as the ataxia. Whenever the cerebellum becomes non-functional, definitely during that, between the two sides of the legs, coordination is not achieved. By that way, person may not be walk properly. Person may be walks with an uncoordinated way. That kind of the condition is said to be as the ataxia. So in that way, cerebellum always by achieving the coordination between the two sides of the leg, that always maintain body balance or the body equilibrium or the erect position of the body. Due to that reason, it is said to be as the gyroscope of body. Again, when we observe this cerebellum, what is the position of this cerebellum means just assume. This is the cerebrum. This is the diencephalon. This is the midbrain. Again, this is the pons varoli. To the lateral side of the pons varoli, this is the pons varoli. To the lateral side of the pons varoli, so whatever the structure which is present, that is said to be as the cerebellum. Cerebellum always lies lateral to pons varoli. In the case of the cerebellum, definitely three principal lobes are present. Three principal lobes are present in cerebellum. Of that, middle lobe is said to be as the vermis, and other two lobes are lateral lobes. These are said to be as the lateral lobe. This is the vermis. This is the lateral lobe. This is the lateral lobe. This is said to be as the vermis. Definitely in each and every lateral lobe, again three sublobes are present. Again in each and every lateral lobe, three sublobes are present. This is said to be as the posterior lobe. This is the anterior lobe. Middle one is said to be as the floccular lobe. Definitely in the case of the cerebellum, mainly three lobes are present. Two are the lateral, one is the vermis. Middle lobe is said to be as the vermis. Again in the each and every lateral lobe, again three sublobes are present. One is the anterior lobe, middle one is the floccular lobe, last one is said to be as the lateral lobe. Again, both sides of the cerebral lobes, both sides of the cerebellar lobes are connected with each other by axon bundles of pons varoli connect both sides of the cerebellar hemispheres. Both sides of the lobes of the cerebellum principally connected with each other by the axon bundles of the pons varoli. Again, definitely this cerebellum is covered with white matter in the form of the branching of a tree. Like this is the white matter, this is the white matter. Definitely white matter covers cerebellum in the form of the branching of the tree, branches of tree. That kind of the branches like appearance is again covered with the grey matter. White matter at first shows the infolding around to the cerebellum in the form of the branches of the tree, in the form of the branches of the tree. That white matter is later covered with the grey matter. That kind of the entire appearance is said to be as the arbor vitae or tree of life. That is said to be as the arbor vitae or tree of life. They can be comparable with the sulci and gyri of the cerebrum. This kind of the foldings can be comparable with the sulci and gyri of the cerebrum. In this case, this kind of the branching like structures also useful to increase the surface area to accommodate more number of the neuron. Definitely this kind of the branching like infolding, branching like structures also principally useful to increase the surface area for accommodation of the more number of the neuron. So that kind of the branching like tree, branches like appearance is collectively called as the arbor vitae or tree of life. Next part which is present in the brain of the person is the medulla oblongata. Next part which is present in the brain is said to be as the medulla oblongata. This is said to be as the medullary part. This is said to be as the medulla oblongata. This is the last part of the brain. So definitely in the case of the medulla oblongata, whatever the cavity which is present, whatever the space which is present, this space is said to be as the fourth ventricle or metacele or myelocele. So cavity which is present in the medulla oblongata, that is said to be as the fourth ventricle or the metacele or the myelocele. Definitely roof of the fourth ventricle, roof of the fourth ventricle means this is the roof. Definitely this roof of the fourth ventricle is with the blood capillary network, that is with the blood capillary network, that is said to be as the posterior choroid plexus. This is said to be as the posterior choroid plexus. Definitely anterior choroid plexus is present in the diencephalon. Posterior choroid plexus is present in the medulla oblongata. So on the roof of the fourth ventricle, whatever the blood capillary network which is present, which is without neuron, that is said to be as the posterior choroid plexus. So in the fourth ventricle, on the roof, whatever the blood capillary network which is present, that is said to be as the posterior choroid plexus. Next, in the case of the medulla oblongata, what are the centers which are present? What are the centers in medulla which are present for regulation of the various type of the body functions? Means first one is the cardiovascular reflex, that is the One center which is useful to regulate the heartbeat. This is the one center which is principally useful to monitor the heartbeat. That is the cardiovascular reflex. Second one is the respiratory center. That is principally useful for the maintenance of the normal inspiration and expiration. Third one is the gastric secretion center. That is principally useful to regulate digestive juice secretion. Definitely gastric secretion center principally useful to maintain, to stimulate or to monitor digestive enzymes secretion into the lumen of the alimentary canal. Definitely that is responsible for the regulation of the digestive juice secretion. Similarly, swallowing center, vomiting center, hiccuping center. Like that way, several involuntary centers also present in the medulla oblongata for regulation of various involuntary functions. Definitely, what are the principal centers which are present in the medulla oblongata means cardiovascular reflex, that is principally monitor the heartbeat rate. Respiratory center principally monitor the normal inspiration and expiration. Gastric secretion center principally useful to monitor digestive juice secretion into the lumen of alimentary canal. Swallowing center is responsible for the swallowing of the food material. Vomiting center is responsible for control of the vomitings. Hiccuping center principally useful to control the hiccup. Then what is the reason for the hiccups? Improper position of diaphragm. Whenever the diaphragm is not reaches to its original position properly, to reset diaphragmic position, hiccups are principally evoked in the person. To reset the original position of the diaphragm, hiccups are gets evoked in the case of the person. Improper position of the diaphragm is the main reason for that kind of the hiccups. Definitely this medulla oblongata comes out from cranium through a opening. This medulla oblongata exits from the cranium through a opening, that is said to be as the foramen magnum. The opening which is present at the end of the cranium, through which this medulla oblongata exit as the spinal cord, that is said to be as the foramen magnum. Definitely through the foramen magnum, medulla oblongata is exit and continued as the spinal cord. Again, in the case of the brain of the human, this is the midbrain. This is said to be as the midbrain. This is the pons varolii. This is the medulla. This midbrain, pons, medulla together constitute brain stem. Brain stem, very important in the objective. Brain stem equal to means midbrain, pons varolii, medulla oblongata. These three structures together constitute the brain stem. That equal to midbrain plus pons varoli plus medulla oblongata. These three together constitute the brain stem. This is very important in the NEET examination point of view. What are the structures which together constitute the brain stem in the brain of the person means midbrain, pons varoli, medulla oblongata, but not the cerebellum. Cerebellum is not part of the brain stem. Cerebellum is not part of the brain stem. Only midbrain, pons varoli, medulla oblongata together constitute the brain stem. This is the brain of the person. Next, what are the cavities, what are the ventricles which may be present in the various parts of the brain? Next continuation topic is the ventricles of brain. Ventricles of brain. What is the meaning of the ventricle? Cavities. What are the cavities which are present in the brain of the person? What are the ventricles of the brain of the person means? Definitely in the case of the brain of the person, in cerebral hemispheres, whatever the cavities which are present, they are said to be as the paracele. Just assume this is nothing but cerebrum. These are the cerebral hemispheres. These are the cerebral hemispheres. Definitely this is the right cerebral hemisphere, this is the left cerebral hemisphere. In the cerebral hemispheres, whatever the cavities which are present, they are said to be as the paraceles or first and second ventricles. First and second ventricles or lateral cavities. Definitely whatever the cavities which are present in the cerebral hemispheres, that cavities are said to be as the paracele or first and second ventricle or the lateral cavities. This both sides of the paraceles or gets opens into the third ventricle which is present in the diencephalon. Definitely this is the diencephalon. In the diencephalon, cavity which is present, that is said to be as the diastole or that is the third ventricle. In the case of the diencephalon, whatever the cavity which is present, that is said to be as the diastole or third ventricle. This both sides of the paraceles or first and second ventricles are opens into the diastole or third ventricle through the pair of openings. That pair of the openings are said to be as the foramen Monro. They are two in number. Foramen Monro. This is the one foramen Monro. This is the another foramen Monro. Means paraceles or first and second ventricles are opens into the diastole through a pair of the openings. They are said to be as the foramen Monro. Again, third ventricle gets opens into fourth ventricle through a duct. Just assume this is the medulla oblongata. In the medulla oblongata, whatever the cavity which is present, that is said to be as the fourth ventricle, or that is also called as the metacele, or that's also called as the myelocele. Definitely, third ventricle is connected with the fourth ventricle by a duct. This duct is said to be as the iter or aqueduct of Sylvian or Sylvian aqueduct. Sylvian aqueduct. Definitely this third ventricle is communicated with the fourth ventricle through a canal, through a duct. The duct is said to be as the iter or aqueduct of Sylvian or Sylvian aqueduct. Definitely fourth ventricle which is present in the medulla oblongata is communicated with the central canal of the spinal cord. Just assume this is the spinal cord. This is the spinal cord. Definitely in the spinal cord, whatever the canal which is present, this is said to be as the central canal. Definitely in the spinal cord, central canal is present. Cavity which is present in the case of the spinal cord, that is said to be as the central canal. Definitely, cavity which is present in the case of the spinal cord, that is said to be as the central canal. This fourth ventricle is communicated with the central canal of the spinal cord. Definitely in all this kind of the cavities, whatever the fluid which is present, that fluid is said to be as the cerebrospinal fluid. That is said to be as the cerebrospinal fluid, that is the CSF. It is approximately 150 ml. Maximum or normal volume of the cerebrospinal fluid is approximately 150 ml is the volume of the cerebrospinal fluid. Definitely, if this kind of the cerebrospinal fluid is increases in volume, if this cerebrospinal fluid is increases in volume, then that condition is said to be as the hydrocephalus. That condition is said to be as the hydrocephalus. In one day or within 24 hours, how many times it is recycled means for about 4 times in a day, cerebrospinal fluid gets recycled. Means definitely for about 4 times in a day, freshly this cerebrospinal fluid is secreted from the choroid plexus. Old cerebrospinal fluid gets circulated into the bloodstream. This is the ventricles of brain. Second part in the case of the central nervous system is the spinal cord. Second part which is present in the central nervous system is the spinal cord. Before going to that, at first you have to know how the question may be asked in the NEET examination point of view. Means in NEET exam, the question may be asked on the concept of ventricles of brain as what is the sequence of ventricles of brain. What is the sequence of the ventricles of brain is the question. So what is the sequence means? Paracells, definitely they are present in the case of the cerebral hemispheres. They are opens into the diastole, that is the third ventricle through the foramen Monro. They are gets opens into the metastole, that is the fourth ventricle. Fourth ventricle finally opens into the spinal cord through the central canal. So first and second ventricle, third ventricle, fourth ventricle is the sequence of the ventricles of the brain. Next to spinal cord. Second structure which is present in the central nervous system is the spinal cord. Medulla oblongata is continued as the spinal cord. Medulla oblongata is continued as the spinal cord. Definitely spinal cord is long, again slender, again single, again dorsal, tubular, hollow structure. Definitely whatever the spinal cord which is present in our body, that is long, that shows the curvatures. Definitely that shows the curvature. So that only that is said to be as the slender. That is the single, that is located on the dorsal side of the body. Along the mid dorsal, that is extended from the neck to lumbar region. So that is the dorsal, that is tubular. Because in the spinal cord central canal is present, cavity is present, that is the central canal. So that only that is look like as the tube. That is with the central canal, so that only that is said to be as the halo. Definitely spinal cord is long, slender, single, dorsal, tubular, halo structure. Again when we observe the spinal cord, this spinal cord is with two conspicuous enlargements. Just assume this is the one conspicuous enlargement, this is with another conspicuous enlargement. Definitely this spinal cord is with two conspicuous enlargements. Definitely this enlargement is said to be as the cervical enlargement. Near the neck region, whatever the swelling which is appears in the case of the spinal cord, that is said to be as the cervical enlargement. Near the lumbar region, whatever the enlargement which is appears, that is said to be as the lumbar enlargement. Then what is the use of this kind of the enlargements means? This cervical enlargement is useful to attach the shoulder muscle as well as the neck muscles also. Definitely this is principally useful to attach with the muscles of shoulders as well as the neck region. Lumbar enlargement is also useful to attach the muscles of lumbar region. Definitely behind the lumbar region, spinal cord gets tapered. Spinal cord gets tapered. Tapering means size of this spinal cord is gradually decreases. Size of this spinal cord, if it is decreases like that of the tail of the snake, then that is said to be as the tapering. Tapering. It is said to be as the tapered. The tapered part of spinal cord is said to be as the conus medullaris. From which part of the spinal cord this size is gradually starts to decrease? That part is said to be as the conus medullaris. That is the conus medullaris. This spinal cord is extends up to the intervertebral disc between the first and second lumbar vertebrae. Just assume this is said to be as the L2, second lumbar vertebrae. This is the L1, that is the first lumbar vertebrae. This spinal cord is extends up to the intervertebral disc between the first and second lumbar vertebrae. Between the first and second lumbar vertebrae, whatever the space which is present, that is said to be as the intervertebral disc. This space is said to be as the intervertebral disc of L1 and L2. Definitely between the first lumbar vertebrae and second lumbar vertebrae, whatever the space which is present, that is said to be as the intervertebral disc. From this last part of the conus medullaris, definitely this is the last part, means inferior to lumbar enlargement but not superior. Superior means this portion, inferior means this portion. Inferior to the lumbar enlargement, size of the spinal cord starts to decrease. That is said to be as the conus medullaris. From the last part of the conus medullaris, non-nervous fibrous strand which is arises, that part is said to be as the filum terminale. Filum terminale, definitely from the tip of conus medullaris, non-nervous, this filament like structures which may be arises, fibers like structures which may be arises, that fiber like structure is said to be as the filum terminale. Again this filum terminale is look like as the tail of the horse. So that only this filum terminale along with the spinal nerves, along with the lumbar, sacral, caudal spinal nerves, filum terminal together constitute cauda equina. Cauda equina means, just assume this is the filum terminale, this is the filum terminale, this is nothing but filum terminale, means non-nervous fibrous strand, means fibers are only appears, neurons are not appear. Definitely on either side of this filum terminale, this lumbar spinal nerves, these are the lumbar spinal nerves, these are the lumbar spinal nerves, these are the sacral spinal nerves, these are the caudal spinal nerves are extended. Definitely, caudal spinal nerve